Welcome in to another episode of my Dynasty Fantasy Football YouTube. Today, I'm looking at Dynasty sells, focusing on players who could lose value in the NFL draft. As always, make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Let's go. So the first player, Chase Brown, and honestly, I'm surprised that Chase Brown has not been on one of my Dynasty sell videos this season, unless I missed him, but I'm pretty sure he has not been. However, for me, he's the most obvious NFL draft sell of them all. Let's look into why. So last year in 16 games in his second year in the NFL, 229 carries, 990 yards, 7 touchdowns, 4.3 yards a carry, 54 catches, 360 yards, 4 touchdowns. He had great volume once Zach Moss went out for the year, but it was all volume. He was not like special. We have to separate Chase Brown from someone like Bucky Irving, who was elite. Chase Brown, not so much. So Brown averaged 18.9 carries and 4.8 catches per game over the 8 games Moss missed. So the volume, yes, elite, but he only had 4.2 yards of carry over that time. As a pass catcher, he was a little bit more efficient. Now, over the whole season, he averaged 15.9 PPR points a game, 14th among running backs. And that includes the earlier part. So he was a clear RB1 down the stretch. He was very, very good for fantasy. For real life, he's fine. He was fine. And that gets into why I have him as a dynasty sell. So the Bengals have had multiple running backs in for pre-draft visits, many of them. I saw that Trevion Henderson on the list, Quinshawn Junkins on the list, Caleb Johnson also on the list, among others. Why are they having these running backs in? Well, let's look at that. So the Bengals depth chart includes Zach Moss, who got injured and we've heard nothing about, and Samaje Perine, who is nothing more than an RB3 at this point. They retained T. Higgins. They re-signed Mike Gesicki. Their only need at skill position, they obviously don't need quarterback. Their only need at skill position is the running back. I do think they're going to focus on defense in the draft. Does that mean they're going to use every single pick on defense? No. I think they will likely take a running back. I think it's a question of, is it the second round, the third round, or the fourth round? The second round, that would be a starter. That's a starter. Third round, okay, probably a committee. Fourth round, that's a backup. So it just depends on which one of those it is. But whatever it is, it's not going to be what it was last year. Brown just wasn't that good. He averaged 4.2 true yards a carry, 31st among running backs. He did have 1.77 yards per route run, 16th among running backs. And I think this is hinting at what Brown should be. He can run the ball effectively. He's fine. He's a fine runner. He's not a plus. He's fine. He's not a workhorse back. He can do it, but he's not that good at doing it. He is a plus in the passing game. He should share the backfield with another back, like the Bengals intended when Zach Moss was healthy. There are many runners in this year's draft who are superior to Chase Brown. So I just think the volume's going to be taken away. Is Brown going to be totally useless? No. Is he going to be what he was down the stretch last year? I don't see it. I don't see that as really a possibility, to be honest. So how to sell him? I'm surprised people are buying. I think it is a lock that the Bengals will take a running back. That is a guarantee. They're not going in with Brown, Moss, and Perine when Moss is, injured. But people are still buying Brown. These deals all within the last day. You could sell Chase Brown for 109, a 12-team Superflex. There's no question. I'd rather have 109. 109 cannot lose value. Chase Brown can. For Devonta Smith. Okay. Devonta Smith is a very productive wide receiver, still just 26 years old. I take Devonta Smith the rest of his career over whatever Chase Brown is. And then this wild one, Chase Brown 107 and 307 for Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't get it. Amon-Ra is worth a lot more than this. This is a ridiculous deal. I would easily take Amon-Ra, and it's not even close. So there are many ways to get rid of Chase Brown, and I would absolutely look to do that. So next up, Tyrone Tracy. And you take everything I just said for Chase Brown and double it for Tracy. So let's look into that. In 17 games, Tracy had 192 carries, 839 yards, 5 touchdowns, 4.4 yards carry, 38 catches, 284 yards, and a touchdown. He basically was not used for the first 4 weeks. He wasn't even a clear RB2 yet. He took a few games to overtake Eric Gray for that role. But once that happened, he became the starter and mostly held it all year. Over the final 13 weeks, Tracy averaged 13.8 carries and 2.6 catches a game. So just a shade over 16 touches a game. But there were some problems. He almost ended up in the fumble doghouse a couple of times. There was also that incident with the pass that he dropped. So for the most part, he remained the lead back, but the same Giants coaching staff benched him multiple times. And Tracy averaged just 13.2 PPR points a game over the final 13 games, 22nd among running backs in that period. So he was fine, but he wasn't a league winner even last year. So it's concerning. Now, let's look at the Giants situation. So the Giants have brought in a lot of running backs for visits. Quinshon Judkins on the list. Omarion Hampton. That one is interesting. I don't know where they think they're drafting Omarion Hampton, but he did come in for a visit. Caleb Johnson, maybe in the third. Cam Skattebo, potentially in the third. They've also had Ollie Gordon in and Jarquez Hunter as well. So clearly the Giants are drafting a running back. Again, it's a question of how high. But I think this is different from the Chase Brown situation. I think the Giants see Tyrone Tracy as a backup plan, not a committee, just as a backup. They benched Tracy already in 2024 multiple times, like I said. This situation reminds me of the Panthers in 2024. Remember at that time, they had Chuba Hubbard and they had an unwanted veteran in Miles Sanders. He signed a big contract. It was stuck under dead cap in year 2. They couldn't get rid of him, but they didn't really want him. The Giants have Tyrone Tracy, a younger back, and then they have Devin Singletary signed a contract. Probably would like to release him, but cannot because it would cost them money to do so. And they still took Jonathan Brooks. Now, this is the situation that the Giants are in this year. They could just take another running back to add to that backfield. Now, you might say, well, Chuba Hubbard worked out. So it's actually an example of Tyrone Tracy being not a sell. That's wrong. That's very wrong. Remember, Dynasty is a value game first and a player take game second. Hubbard's value after the 2024 NFL draft went to 0. If you believed in him then, you could have bought him for nothing. If you really believe in Tyrone Tracy, he's going to be a lot cheaper after the NFL draft, I can tell you. You might be able to buy him low at that point, but we're not talking about at that point. We're talking about now. And right now, Tyrone Tracy is a hard sell because I can guarantee you his value is going down in 8 days. Guarantee. It's not if, it's when. So how do you get rid of Tyrone Tracy? Again, this is a player I am surprised is being sold at all, but he is. The first one, Tyrone Tracy in 207 for 111. I take the 111. I just take maybe a slight value loss on Tyrone Tracy now. Eliminate the risk. The second one I would absolutely do. Tyrone Tracy in 26 third for 26 first. Easy. I'm doing that in a heartbeat. And then Tyrone Tracy for Josh Downs. Both could be hurt in the NFL draft, but Josh Downs is a young, valuable wide receiver. His value is not going to go away, whereas Tyrone Tracy's value literally could be near 0 if the wrong running back is taken by the Giants. So I would easily do this deal without a second thought. But overall, I would love to get rid of Tyrone Tracy right now. So I'll be honest, it's been kind of a tough couple of weeks in terms of bringing people into Patreon. I think, people are just getting antsy waiting for rookie drafts. But if you like my YouTube content, you should sign up for the Patreon. I'm offering a 50% discount off your first month at all tiers using the code TylerYT. You can get my rankings, access to Discord, all my write-ups, direct message fantasy advice, which is going to be critical in helping you with your rookie drafts. I am just telling you, if you are asking me questions about your rookie drafts on Twitter or in the YouTube comments, I'm not taking those questions. I'm not doing it. Those are going to be for patrons only. Tiers begin at just $5 a month, $250 with discount. And I really appreciate everyone who signs up. If you want to know more about the Patreon, check out my Why You Should Join the Patreon videos on the channel under the Patreon promo section. I'm going to do another one of those probably on Sunday. I think I'm going to release that. So there'll be another one of those to encourage people to sign up. Again, I believe in the product. I believe in my rankings. I believe in the Discord. I believe in the direct message fantasy advice. I believe in the write-ups. That's why I'm offering 50% off your first month. I just want to encourage you to try it. And I hope that you try it and you stay and you enjoy it, because it's hard. I feel like I have to spend more and more of these videos on promos because there is just no revenue from creating YouTube videos. These YouTube videos exist in order to be supported by the Patreon and to promote the Patreon. So, I really don't want to spend 2 minutes of every video promoting the Patreon. I like creating content more, but I don't have any other choice because it's the only way that people sign up. So, again, I really appreciate everyone who gives it a try. There's a couple hundred people in there. So, a lot of people have tried it already. Many have been there for 3-4 years at this point. So once again, I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I have that discount code, and that's going to be where I'm helping people with their rookie drafts. It's not going to take place outside the Patreon. The days where I'm offering free advice on Twitter and in the YouTube comments are in the past. So I really do want to help. I enjoy nothing more than helping people with their rookie drafts, but it has to come behind the Patreon paywall. I just don't get anything out of offering it for free. With that said, I'll move into my next sell. So my final sell for today's video is Jaylen Warren. And there are some very loud and very wrong analysts who are claiming that Jaylen Warren workhorse season is here. You know who they are. Just ignore them. Ignore them. They are guilty of a lot of take lock, poor analysis, and creating things just for, I don't even know, attention, I suppose. With that said, Warren in 2024 in 15 games had 120 carries, 511 yards, a touchdown, 4.3 yards a carry, and 38 catches for 310 yards. His yards per carry declined in 2024. His receptions per game went down, as did his carries per game. It was not a successful season. He averaged 8.3 PPR points a game, 40th among running backs. He is completely irrelevant, and actually, he's never been relevant. Jaylen Warren, I will repeat this again, has never been fantasy relevant. Never. Do players who have never been fantasy relevant through 3 years usually magically become fantasy relevant in year 4 or not become fantasy relevant in year 4? It's usually the latter. So why do I have Jaylen Warren as a dynasty sell? A complete lack of career touchdown production. So as I was saying, Warren has 6 total touchdowns in his 3-year career. Not 6 touchdowns per year, 6 total across 346 carries and 127 receptions. 0 receiving touchdowns. And why is this? Because he's not used in the red zone at all. And the Steelers' 2025 coaching staff is the same as the 2024 one that didn't like him. Why people are saying it's 2025 is Jaylen Warren workhorse season is mind-blowing to me. I have no idea. They've used 9 of their 30 visits on running backs. 9 out of 30. You get 30. They've used 9 on the running back position. That's an insane percentage if they don't plan to draft a running back in the NFL draft. They obviously are. They've had Omari and Hampton, Caleb Johnson, and Trevion Henderson as headliners, but they've also had Dylan Simpson, DJ Giddens, Ollie Gordon, RJ Harvey, Jaden Blue, and Bashal Tuden also have come to visit. So a lot of running backs. Now, the Steelers do not have a second-round pick, so they're probably looking at running back in round 1 or round 3. I don't think they take a running back and just sit and take a running back in round 1. But they bothered to meet with Hampton, Johnson, and Henderson. They're not going to be there at 83. So do they have a plan to trade back? Potentially. And then maybe take a running back and gather another pick? Possibly. The other running backs they brought in would be targets at 83. But I'm just not buying anything with Jaylen Warren. So there are some deals to sell him. Jaylen Warren and 27 second for 27 first. People are already obsessed over 27 first, so I'd do this instantly. Jaylen Warren and Romeo Doubs for 202 and 206. I'd easily take the picks. I'd rather have 202 over Warren by a lot. 206 over Doubs, who's a roster clogger, by a lot. It's not close. And then the last one, I think this is the most fair. It's probably what you can get. 211 and 26 fourth. I'd rather just take that and take a player that I actually like at 211. Warren's going to turn 27 in this season. I'm not interested in Jaylen Warren. So I'd rather just start over and get my choice of player over someone who wouldn't be who I would choose. So for all of those reasons, Jaylen Warren is someone I'd try to sell. If you can't do it, you can't do it. But if you can get these types of offers, I would absolutely move on. So I know there's been some questions today. We'll go through those. And this is another benefit of joining the Patreon. You get to ask these questions for the YouTube video. First one I thought was very interesting. What are the things you might not know as a new Dynasty player, but definitely learn after playing for 3 to 4 years? Okay. Number one, people get obsessed with rookie picks on the clock. They're always going to be worth more than you think. So you'll be able to trade them on the clock pretty much always, at least the first 2 rounds, maybe the early third as well. After that, no. But the early part of the draft, yes. People will always be obsessed with those rookie picks. And then the other thing I would say is that you need depth. People always underestimate how many players it takes to get through a season. If you start 10, you probably lineup of starting 10, you're probably going to start 20 players in that lineup throughout the season. So people always underestimate the depth that you need. Those will be the main 2. Oh, my favorite question. If you're in multiple leagues, how does the concept of exposure across your entire portfolio of teams factor into your decision making at all? It doesn't. This is just a stupid thing that people say. Every league is an independent event. They're not related to another league, right? I mean, I want the best team in each league. I do not care about my overall exposure across a Dynasty portfolio. People are taking a concept from investing, where, yes, in investing, if you risk things and you lose all of your money, that could have a very negative effect on your life. If you're playing Dynasty fantasy football with money that, if you lose it, will really negatively affect your life, I would suggest maybe not doing that. This is supposed to be a hobby for fun. If you're playing in, leagues you cannot afford to play in, please don't do that. But in terms of just the expected value, I want to have the expected value best for each individual team. The idea of a portfolio of exposure is the dumbest thing that people consistently say. It is so stupid. People repeat it all the time. They're taking also a concept from best ball and trying to apply it to Dynasty leagues. It doesn't work that way. And it's dumb. It's dumb. It's always been dumb. And it makes no sense. Whoever is saying that, don't take their advice. And I know exactly who people are talking about when they say this. And I'm telling you, without naming any names, do not take their advice. They have no idea what they're talking about. Never have, never will. So this is bullshit. It always has been. And honestly, it pisses me off that people keep talking about it because it is so stupid. And if you join the Patreon, you can hear me rant about this constantly because it is nonsensical. Get the best players on your team. Don't let what you did in another league affect your decision-making in a different Dynasty league, separate and distinct Dynasty league. Do not allow that to happen. Don't do that. Period. End of story. Nothing else to say. Now, if you like the video, make sure to support the channel by subscribing. And don't forget to hit that notifications bell so you can be notified about all my exciting content as it drops. Of course, if you want my best fantasy football advice, it's available on the Patreon. Dynasty content year-round. 50% discount at all tiers using the code TylerYT. You can sign up in the top right corner at patreon.com/fantasy advice. And the main thing that I keep trying to tell you that I offer is that I'm honest. I'm honest. I don't just tell you, oh, your team is great. Oh, well, you paid me money. Your team is great. Woo, yay. No, I'll tell you it's bad if it's bad. I'll be honest. I have passion for this. And signing up for the Patreon helps support the independent content like this YouTube video. But once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.